The key to generating passion is to feel passion for your partner. Ecstatic, exquisite, sexquisite, intense, joyous passion. If all you are is a response machine, that gets very boring very quickly. So you've got to be crazy enough about your partner that when you're not together, you're thinking about making love with him or her. And he or she has to be thinking about making love with you. And it has to happen really all the time, both the anticipating it, thinking about it, and the action. And you have to be really good at those skills. Those are skills. Every aspect of sex is a skill set. And there are people who are great at the most basic kissing, and there are people who are not. And it's just fascinating to me that the people that one knows who you'd think they had enough time to practice, right? You know, they did have enough time to practice, and yet this is obviously not anything that they really cared about. Was never really into it. But as people get older, they either realize they need to get these skills to be wonderful and delicious and delightful to a partner, or they get to the point where, oh, it's not important to me, it never was. And you need to be able to tell the difference. And if you're someone who feels the first way, then you need that partner. If you feel someone who feels the other way, then that's fine, but it's a disaster. I mean, it's truly hell on earth if you love passion and you love your partner and it's not reciprocated. That's hideous for anybody.
Very disappointing, unfulfilling.
Excruciating, maybe, would be the word.
Yeah.
Excruciating.
Now, what are some of the most frequent needs that you find working with so many clients?
Well, traditionally, we know that men have a huge need for beauty. We know for sure, and I've said this many times in the most straightforward way, that if you're a woman watching the show and you want a boyfriend, take a good hard look in the mirror and you probably want to lose some weight. Because the most important attribute that any woman can have is to be thin. It is amazing to me. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but there it is, so you just go with it, right? And obviously I'm thin. So that's the number one thing. Get thin and then do everything you can to look your prettiest, because those are very, very important qualities. But that's not the inner self. So the inner self is be authentically sweet. You know, Gigi's one of the sweetest people I know, and it's real. And I've become, over time, the other sweetest person I know. And I don't know a third. You know, I really don't know a third really sweet person, woman. So you become sweet or you already are sweet, because this is essential to any man. What man who's intelligent and successful and attractive and charming and all that, why would he put up with somebody with a bad temper and a disposition? He just won't, not for long. So those are the most important things. Of course, being intelligent is crucial for many men. Being ambitious and hardworking is very important. If he wants to have children, well then of course you have to be able to have children, want to have children, and be a good mother and all those things. So we've got 19 domains, which we're going to show in the clip, of what makes a successful marriage. And you have to agree about those.
Oh boy, a lot of information. Now, what about seduction? I know that there are many men and some women, of course. What is the secret to that?
You know, to me, that's the magic, right?
Yeah.
Now, some men and women, all they have to do is show up. You know, they're so irresistible. They just show up. They don't have to do anything. Or maybe it's the timbre of their voice, or maybe it's a look, or maybe it's the enthusiastic approach they have to you. And they really don't have to do a lot. They're already seducing you. And then you just pray to God they're not seducing everybody else too, because that's tricky, you know. So you hope they're not a player. But it's hard, because when somebody has this ability to just show up and be, you know, flirty and irresistible, it is hard not to imagine that every time they walk out of the house, they're doing this. But,
Yes.
you know, some men are like that, and some women are like that, and some aren't. The key, of course, is to make sure that this person has the attributes that are important to you, and vice versa. And that's really what it's about, because everybody has a different preference. There are men who like the type that Gigi and I are, and there are men who don't. Because how do we know? Because they marry people who, have a very, very different look, who don't wear any makeup, who don't do their hair, wear a ponytail, wear flat shoes, and all the things that Gigi and I don't really understand. But, they do it, right? So there you go.
Well, let's explore this. How do you describe how to find the spark with someone?
You either feel it in your body or you don't. And that other person either feels it or he or she doesn't. And if you're not sure, I'll teach you what to do in a private phone conversation. But some men and women are very shy. Some men and women are not shy. I don't believe that being shy pays off. I am someone who doesn't believe in shyness at all. I don't think you have that many opportunities in life with somebody. So if he's shy and you're shy, then you leave and you probably don't see each other again. And what'd you get out of it? All that effort for nothing. So my strong belief is, let me teach you how to be seductive. Let me teach you how to be magnetic. Let me teach you how to reach out for the other person and really find out if the spark is there. You're only going to find out if the spark is there if you kiss each other. There's not really another way, because you might think the spark is there across a crowded room, and then the guy gets towards you, and he gets closer and closer to you, and he seems absolutely adorable, and he thinks the same about you, and then if you kiss him and it's lousy, then, that's the end of that. But if you kiss him and it's wonderful, and you really wish you could have more, and you make plans to have more, then that's someone with whom you found the spark.
So the secret is in the kiss.
It's the first secret.
Okay.
That's only the first step, right? I mean, it's not enough. That's not where babies come from.
Oh my. Oh no. Now, what about nurturing the spark with anticipation?
Well, I learned, I didn't know this, but I learned that you can really build up a slow boil and then a very, 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 very intense one over time. Because we've done shows about it this year. And you can get yourself into an absolute frenzy just because somebody is the master of building up and building up and building up, and the intensity builds and builds. And that's another form of seduction. There are people who are great at seduction right in the moment, and then there are people who are not, and then there are people who are great in telephonic seduction, email, text seduction, letter writing seduction, all of that. And of course, they also have to be pretty good at it when you see them in person.
Oh my. Okay, let's discuss and fanning the spark into a flame. What is the secret there?
It's very interesting. There are some people who love compliments, and there are some people who hate compliments, Like, I have a best friend who comes from a culture that doesn't like compliments. Those early American people from, England, etc., they weren't big on compliments. They like you to be just very practical and very factual. And if I pay him a compliment, he will ignore it. I'm like, didn't you hear what I said? I said you're blah, 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 blah. No. Didn't notice it, doesn't respond the second time around. Like, wow, okay. So I finally said, you don't like compliments, do you? So no, we were trained to be very suspicious of people who pay us compliments. Wow, okay. So I was, never believing the compliments, but after a while, if somebody's behaviors follow along with the words,
right,
then you do believe it, right? And if the behaviors don't follow along with the words, you don't believe it, but you also don't bother with him anymore. It's like,
it's a matter of trust.
Yeah, what's the point? But if part of the seduction, part of the fanning the flame, is to create a deep level of intimacy. Now, compliments don't create intimacy. A lack of them doesn't create intimacy. It's being able to really speak from your heart to someone else's heart, and I teach that. And it's a skill. You know, I didn't get 16 marriage proposals because of any externals, I guarantee. The guys may have thought that's why. They may have believed that's why. But I'm here to tell you that's not. Because when I teach women or men to do that heart connection that I do, they get married.
We'd much rather hear it come from the heart. There's no doubt about
Absolutely.
it. Now, what exactly do you mean by the sacred space in an intimate relationship?
That's part of the tantric experience, that you see the God in yourself, you see the God in your partner sees the God in you. And in fact, I just received these 2 fabulous fossils from India that I just received them. I just opened the box from India this evening. And supposedly they have very strong spiritual power. This is just an example. I bought them from my friend Rajiv. And what's remarkable about them is you can feel energy in these 2 fossils. They're old, they're ancient, and you can feel this power in them. It's quite remarkable. And now I have to learn what the process is of using them in, any meditation, because I just received them. But creating a sacred space means, let me just show you. Creating a sacred space means that what you do is you incorporate whatever you believe indicates this beauty, this heart center, flowers, fragrances, candles, beautiful bedspread, beautiful pillows, beautiful cushions, your wardrobe as beautiful before there's no wardrobe. Same for him. An environment that speaks to the perfection, joy, beauty of love and passion. And that is the source of Tantra. And anyone who wants to learn more about Tantra, Charles Muir, M-U-I-R, is the god of all things Tantra, and he's got lots of videos on YouTube, and it makes all the difference. If you want to have a deeply intimate, joyous, loving connection, the kind of connection that is like mortar between the bricks, the kind of connection over which you'll never get, the kind of connection that is unforgettable, absolutely unforgettable, with 4 exclamation points, then you want to learn and master Tantra.
I think people are getting excited watching. Thank you, Susan. And feeling the flame forever, feeding it, excuse me, that sounds like a long, long time. And, and for many people, how can they actually succeed?
Well, the question is still out as to whether humans were really designed to mate for life. Most of them were not. Of course, when you're already older, it's not so forever. It's not such a long amount of time. It's not like when you were, I got married when I was 26, so it's not like that. But if you find this perfect partner, and perfect doesn't mean the person's perfect, it means perfect for you, and you're perfect for him or her. When you find this twin flame, and please watch the show we did about twin flames. It's already on YouTube. We posted it a couple of months ago. Watch that show. Watch the show we did on how to create a deeper love more, not less. And that's based on the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, the very famous Buddhist monk. So watch some of our shows about this. But finding this partner, this lifelong love, and having it actually be a lifelong love, that requires a lot of skills, and I teach these skills. So call me for a free session. I'll talk to you about it.
And we never know how long life is going to last, right?
That's right. That's right.
So we want to make it work.
That's right.
Now, I know, Susan, when you describe it like this, you make it sound easy. And how can people really learn these skills, and do they need to continuously every day use them?
Yeah, when you wake up in the morning, you have to connect yourself consciously to the divine. When you wake up in the morning and you see your partner there, or even if your partner's not there, you have to connect to the divine in that partner. Don't connect to the personality, because I guarantee that you're going to find things about the personality that drive you crazy.
Yeah.
You know. And in 5 minutes, you're going to be calling me and saying, I don't want to be with him anymore. He's an idiot. You know. But the point is, it's the divine spark within him that is the twin flame to the divine spark within you. And any of us can act like jerks. But you love the soul, not the personality. Okay? Because how in the world would you love that personality forever as the personality gets older and less perfect looking and all that? So that's the secret. That's the trick.
I love that, the soul connection. Now we're going deep. Okay, backing up. How can people remember to make this work?
Put Post-its all over the place. You know, when you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth, have a Post-it there. You know, my definition of love is when you having your needs met is as important to me as my having my needs met. That is the definition of love. And there are a lot just like that I can send you if you like. These are, you know, things to remember. This is just to remember. Don't be like, well, yeah, let me have my cup of coffee first. No, because if you have that approach, let me have my cup of coffee first, you can end up having such a breakdown in your relationship before you even make the coffee that you could end up spending weeks trying to get your relationship back on track.
Yeah.
So be very careful. I mean, you don't want to do anything that doesn't work if you can possibly avoid it. Because if you do, then you're just going to have to create peace again. And yes, the makeup sex can be great, but every time you do that, there is a rend in the fabric of the relationship. It's as if you were taking scissors and cutting